Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
All of our guests today, including Elliotte Friedman, standing by in Vegas, sponsored by Passant Motors, family owned and operated for over 30 years and offering the widest selection of used cars in BC. Passant Motors is the perfect place for your next vehicle. Visit their showroom in Surrey or shop online at Passant Motors, BASANT Motors.com. Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final goes tonight in Las Vegas, Nevada. The Knights up 1-0 on Florida after their 5-2 Game 1 win over the weekend. Joining us from Vegas, from Hockey Night in Canada and the 32 Thoughts podcast, Elliotte Friedman. Elliotte, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
I'm good, guys. Can you tell I'm not wearing any pants?
Well, no, we can't. Well, you're not poolside. That's a disappointment. But
you know what? I was going to do it from there.
Yeah, I thought so.
It is scorching hot light.
Really?
Like, I don't think I would have been able to do this with it. I was worried my phone would overheat in the middle of the hit. It's happened like twice already. Yeah.
How's the buzz in Vegas regarding the Stanley Cup Final?
You know what? I got to tell you, this is a great market. I remember when they came here, I think a lot of us were like, "This is like, are they sure? Like, how is this going to work?" And they have absolutely hit it out of the park on in this market. Like, the arena's loud. It's our sound people tell us when you go to do games in Vegas and we're actually in the crowd, you have to hold the mic right up to your mouth, because if you drop it down like here, they can't hear it. So it's a loud crowd. They're really enthusiastic. There's a lot of people wearing Golden Knights merchandise. You see the crowd outside the rink. They're enthusiastic. Little John's doing a show right at 4:30 at the top of our open tonight. Like, I got to tell you guys, it's really fun to watch games from here. They did like $500,000 in merchandise sales the other night too. So, someone just said to me, like, and I remember we were talking about it. Like, we didn't know if this was going to work. We weren't convinced the NHL really thought it was going to work either. But what a massive home run it's been for the league, and now everybody's putting teams here.
Yeah, I was just going to say, just ask the NFL or Major League Baseball about the NHL's success in Vegas. Is it possible, Elliotte, that Adin Hill is going to outplay Sergei Bobrovsky?
It's possible. They've got the goalie whisperer here, Sean Burke, right? They've used 5 goalies this year. They've gone pretty seamlessly. Burke is a guy who doesn't always like being known as the goalie guy. I think he's wanted to branch out more than that in his past. But, we all should do the things we do well, and he does goalies really well. Adin Hill was a bit of a reclamation project when he came here, and now he's 3 wins away from the Stanley Cup, and he made 2 saves the other night that were absolute 10-bellers. So I think that I wouldn't be surprised at all if if they win, he probably wins the Conn Smythe.
Elliotte, you broke the story that Damon Severson, the Devils, looks like teams are trying to get him. He's a UFA. The Canucks have been after him for years, going back to when Travis Green was here. Is there any way the Canucks can get involved? We know they're in cap hell, Elliotte, but is there any way the Canucks can get in on Severson?
Well, they can get involved. There's no question about it. Like, it's clear to me that New Jersey is weighing what to do here. Yeah. And that they're in a situation where they are preparing for the possibility of trading his right. So absolutely they can call and they can see what they want to do. I think Severson would be very happy playing in a market like Vancouver. But as you said, it's a difficult fit. You're going to have to clear cap space. And if they can do that, then I think he absolutely would be interested in a place like Vancouver. But as you said, Rick, they're going to have to clear the room first.
All right, coaches. Boy, you've been doing some great work on who's going to end up where. Patrick Waugh just won the Memorial Cup in Kamloops. Elliotte, what's your gut saying about where he ends up?
I have to say, I would call him. I really would. If I was a coach or a GM, if I was a GM or an owner, I absolutely would call him and at least talk to him. He's an incredibly confident guy. He's obviously a very good coach. I do remember, Rick, when he left Colorado the way he did, basically quitting in August, There were people who told me that guy will never work in the NHL again because of that. Now, it's been a while, and I think everybody deserves a chance to show that they've learned from their mistakes. So, if Waugh can convince people that's not going to happen again, I absolutely would take a look at him. Now, the thing is that there's only 2 openings left. I think the Rangers on the weekend were down to Hines and Laviolette. They hadn't spoken to Waugh as of last night. I knew that. And today there was a report from the New York Post that they won't be interviewing him. So it doesn't sound like he's on their radar. But if I was, like I said, if I was Calgary, I would at least give him a call. I mean, the guy can coach. He absolutely can coach.
Absolutely. Mike Babcock, we're hearing back in Columbus. Joel Quenneville and Stan Bowman could be back. What are your thoughts on all these guys getting back in the league, Elliotte, potentially?
Well, first of all, I think Bowman and Quenneville have to go through the league first, and they can't. I think teams have talked to them. But I don't think that. Obviously, nobody's hiring them. I think when it comes to that, I think we've all just been really curious. Like, what do they have to say? What I know, Stan Bowman's done a lot of work with Sheldon Kennedy. I mean, at some point in time, I think we'll hear what Sheldon Kennedy has to say about that. And I want to hear what people have to say before I make that decision. Joel Quenneville, I want to hear what kind of things he's done and training he's done and courses he's done. Once that happens, I think we'll be better informed to make that decision. When it comes to Mike Babcock, he's not under any kind of penalty. I reported on the weekend, Rick, that the number of the players in Columbus did know they were considering him. I don't know how many knew that they were going to hire him, but I think a number of them knew that they were considering him. And, I'm going to talk more at length about Mike Babcock or write about more at length about Mike Babcock this week because I don't think it's something that can be really discussed in a 35, 40-second snippet. But I think everybody deserves the chance to prove they've learned their lessons. I think one of the things that I think Babcock is going to have to be a lot better at this time around is that you can be a tough coach and you can be demanding, but one thing we saw this year in Calgary with Daryl Sutter was the overall environment really suffered. You can't have a dark cloud over every day around your team. And unfortunately that happened in Calgary this year. And that's one thing that happened in Toronto at the end of Babcock's term. And I think that if he's going to have a chance to be successful, then I think that you can be demanding and you can be hard, but you've also got to create an environment where people can enjoy themselves. Yeah. And I think that got away from Babcock at the end in Toronto.
Yeah, learning to change with the times. Hey, Elliotte, we haven't had you on for a couple of weeks. What does Brad Treliving have that Kyle Dubas doesn't or didn't?
I got to tell you, the more I look back at what happened in the last couple of weeks, Don, I think that, there are a lot of people who are convinced that this was all I don't know if predetermined is the right word, but, they kind of look at it like Dubas, Treliving, the Leafs, the Penguins, Shanahan. I think if you look back, the clues were that all of this could happen. Now, I'm not saying it was going to happen, but the clues were there that it could have happened. And, I think it's hard not to look at this and see, did all these teams and all these people kind of have an idea that all of these different moves could occur? And, up until Kyle Dubas took the microphone at his Toronto media conference, I think he was coming back to Toronto. But I think Toronto always had a second plan. I think that Pittsburgh, if Dubas was available, he was going to be their guy. And when you look back at everything now, I think everybody kind of had an idea that we better be ready in case this falls apart with Dubas in Toronto. And that's exactly what happened. And I think, I just think that, Dubas wanted it a certain way in Toronto. He wasn't going to ask for the moon in terms of money, but he did want more say over hockey operations. And he ended up with that in Pittsburgh, and that was obviously the most important thing to him.
Stanley Cup Final going on in Las Vegas. There's also a gun show. Did you just get back from the gym, Elliotte? The biceps are very impressive.
I'm holding
serious.
them up. I've got tape underneath them holding them up. No, I did go to the gym this morning,
There you
but
go.
I was not the most. I was not the most impressive workout person there. I can tell you that much.
Elliotte, that's a beautiful hotel room. You want to give us the hotel's name?
No, you don't give out hotels. What's wrong with you?
Are you kidding me? You don't go to. Everybody goes to Vegas and says I stayed
Rick,
at the Mirage.
If anybody should know about stalkers, it's you. Yeah.
When it's over.
Yeah.
When it's over.
Yeah.
Nice room.
That's like a 10-minute misconduct.
Worst question
You're going
ever.
to the penalty box. For
get some pants on. Get some pants on.
There you go. I've asked lots of worse questions than that, I can tell you.
Yeah, best hit we've had from somebody not wearing pants. Elliotte, thanks so much for this. All the best in Vegas.
All right, guys, take care. Speak to you in a couple weeks.
You bet.
Yeah,
Okay, he is a way bigger star than we are. You're going to tell people, where he's staying?
Are you kidding me?
No.
What's the big deal? I'm staying at the Mirage.
And I'm shocked, given the events of
No,
today.
it's
We
just
don't
a
want to get into
beautiful,
any detail that you would ask him that question.
No, it was a beautiful hotel room. I'm just wondering.
Major broadcasting faux pas.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm at the Mirage. Hey, people say it all the time.
No, they don't, actually.
Yes, they do. Yes,
So you're saying that if somebody big came, I mean, Elliott's big, but if some Hollywood superstar came on the show, you'd ask him why don't you just ask him what room he's staying in?
So
right?
So when these big stars
You
go
don't
to
know
Vegas,
who's out
you don't
there.
know what hotel they're in. You find out the hotel in 2 seconds, Donnie, for crying out
Well,
loud.
he's not going to tell you. Okay, you'd have to find out
It was
yourself.
a nice room, a nice picture in the background. That's all.